Is planning even necessary for a small business or an individual? It's not. Structure planning is not. Don't let people scam you. Anybody that wants to do a proper plan for you and is telling you to bring 50,000, 100,000, 200,000, just do it yourself. It's a quack. Eh? There's what we call, at this point, you don't need any structured or overly documented plan. What you need. Must we have a plan? I mean, you have to question stereotypes. Strategy has become a buzzword. Everybody is using the word strategy. When clients come to me, I tell them, I'm not hungry. I'm not interested in pay. If it's a motivational speaker you need for your strategy, oh, please, all well and good. Go and meet the motivational speakers. Because everybody now is a strategy. Tech, clinical strategist. Marketing something strategist. There's something HR strategist. Everybody is a strategy because strategy has become a buzzword. We lie to everybody that you must have a strategy, a concrete plan. Is it even necessary? That's the question. Why do you think that having a concrete plan is even compulsory? That's the question that I was asking. But I think you are the only one that, was it you that answered or him that said it's necessary, Abby? Yeah, fantastic. Please, let's hear from me. So why do you think, please, can you hear me shut it down? So why do you think it's necessary?
Yes, because I believe, planning gives you a guide. Not necessarily that it has to be a cast in stone, but I mean, it just gives you a guide of the direction that you need to take. And that helps you remain focused, helps you mobilize resources towards a particular direction.
Fantastic. I'm going to come back here. But, you see, these things are very valid. Let me start from here. When you're planning, it's very important that you look at how you have done historically. Do you get? Because there are a couple of people here who are at very early stage or career so I'm going to speak in generic terms, but situate it in the context of businesses because that's what I do. Now, you see, there's no plan without context. In fact, there's no intelligence. You cannot be intelligent if you don't approach conversations from a contextual framework. That's why you see a lot of idiotic conversations on social media. Because people jump into conversations just to chase clout. You don't understand the context. You've not thought deeply about the context. Do you get my point? Even if our father or our spouse calls you and asks your advice about something, or your sibling, and you just give the person generic advice, boom, because that's what worked for you when you were in that situation. That's not intelligent advice. Abi? You must dig deep into the context of that person. It's the same way if you want to plan. You must situate that plan very deeply within the context of your background. And your background has multiple elements to it. Your financial background, your environmental background in terms of your immediate society or your operating environment and all of those kind of things. The background around your business operations. Now, you know that your background in terms of the first one is you personally and maybe... Now, the next is around your situation, your business. Where is your business targeting? So, for example, your operating background can be Lagos, but your business is targeting multiple environments, right? And multiple other contexts. It is those contexts and the history of how you have done feeds as inputs into the plan. Now, a lot of us always, I like the organ that told us about these two. A lot of us are so obsessed with revenue targets or income targets that we believe that that's the ultimate plan. If I'm able to do $1 billion or I'm able to make $5,000 every month in salaries, I've achieved my plan. I've achieved my financial goals. And then I start making the $5,000, then I realize that my high blood pressure is now at 230 over, and even with the high blood pressure, the skill set that I need to sustain that 5,000 is no longer there. And then the next day I'm out of job. Then I'm back to square one. This is literally the story of so many people right now. Right? So situating your financial target within other contexts is extremely important. And part of the context is also product. So that's why I was very happy when he told us. Now let's go back to the original question about, are plans even compulsory or necessary? And what type of plans do we need to have? And then we'll now talk about how we should plan. I think I still have quite a decent number of time. This is the growth curve of every business or everybody's life. Usually here is what? Let's talk now. Start up. God bless you, my brother. Do you have a business? What's your business? Tech education.
Yeah.
Then the second one.
Then the second is fintech.
What does that mean?
Fintech, that is financial technology. So
which one? Which fintech? Is it payments? Is it credit? Is it?
It's in payment.
Okay, payment.
Yeah.
How about the third one?
Where the inspirational part is a community for
inspirational.
Like,
is that a product?
No, it's like
you are the inspire people.
Exactly, something like that.
I don't die for Lagos. So you people are inspiring. So if I come out to your app now, I'll be inspired to do what? To make money. Inspire me. I'm very hungry. Okay, it's a personal part of your product. Okay. So this is early startup stage. What's this side? Who can tell us what this side is? We know it now. We are all business people. You want to say, but your mind is telling you, don't let me sound as if I don't know this thing. You know it. What's that side? Maturity. God bless you. Simple as ABC now. It's not hard. Maturity. Are we not all matured? Compared to somebody who was born here. I've been now. Compared to little kids. We are here now. Then where is this place? Growth. This thing is not hard. I told you. Growth. Now, approach to planning. This thing makes me feel like I'm in church. Anyway, that's fine. At least you speak in church and you still speak well. So, your approach to planning is dependent on where you are on your growth curve at every point in time. Now, the problem I have is that many of us are here, but we are planning as if we are here. Or many of us have gotten here. This is the most common. And we are planning as if we are here. Or you are here, planning as if you are here. This one is called premature growth. Premature growth. How many of you does not understand you why? I wanted to say that's your business. But that's okay. It's called premature growth. And then you burden yourself with so much. You know, you can be overstructured. Some businesses, you can have too much structure in your business in a way that becomes a problem. Structure that you should be having here, you can't be creating it here. Your people that are supposed to operate in a nimble, agile, and based on heavy relationship between you and your people. You have just 3, 5, 10 people. And then you are running structure as if you are here. So you need them to be flexible with how they work, but your structure is so stringent that they look at you like, why are you being so irrational? Meanwhile, it's not that you are a bad person, but you are trying to adopt structures of a large environment. Are we on the same page? Now, what are the general approaches or thoughts to guide us when we are planning, especially for 2025? Remember we said about context, Abi? Now, there are different frameworks out there that can help us guide our planning. Depends on what you are planning for. Typically, I usually because there's limited time, I'm going to zoom in on just one. And typically, it will depend on, again, where you are in this growth curve. Now, where you are means first and foremost, how do you even determine these curves? What are the parameters for determining this? Who can give me an idea? So what would make you know where you are? What are the parameters? Who can, no right or wrong answer, please. Somebody can help me.
For growth, when you have discovered a sustainable business model, okay, when you've gotten a very sustainable business model that works for your startup.
Sustainability. Yeah. Like sharp man, like sharp man. You dey inspire me, that you put up the work. Sustainable. That's a complete 100-star response. Growth is where you have hacked a repeatable revenue model that is sustainable, and your demand at that point has gone into a point where your demand exceeds your capacity. So you need to grow. Are you following me? You know growth is different from scale. Who knows the difference? Who knows the difference? Someone needs to tell us now. Why are you people afraid? Is it because it's a work day? You don't know? Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. Now, who can tell me another parameter for this determination? What do you see that makes you... This man said it earlier, real estate. What's your name, sir? Huh? Wages. You mentioned this thing earlier. What are another indicators of either startup or growth or mature? Revenue. God will bless you, my brother. Revenue, exactly. Revenue. What other thing? Huh? Team size, people. System is also there, but system is an output of people. What else? There's one other thing that we're not mentioning. When you say time, how do you mean? So that's a bit tricky. I mean, well, you can add it somehow, but it's really not so important because you can be in business for 20 years and you are still running it as if it's a small business, it hasn't grown. So, for example, for organizers, have you ever seen a matured organizer shop? In Nigeria, mostly none. Abi? Most times they remain small from beginning to the end. Abi? And it's not because the organizer business is not scalable or that it can't grow. It's just their approach to the business. Are you following me? If an organizer has maybe a son or an uncle who decides that this thing, I want to invest in this business, and changes the approach, you'll be shocked. Abi? That's the scalability part of it. You need to, if you're in professional services, you have to know how to replicate, how to scale your talent, because your talent you are selling. That's a difficult thing that a lot of professional service companies don't know how to do. But if I go on that part, we will not finish from here today. So that's why I said duration doesn't really matter. And you have some companies that just 2 to 3 years or less than 5 years, which ordinarily is when you should approach growth stage, around 5 years. Less than 3 years, they would have moved from startup to, do you get my point? And there are also some type of businesses. For example, if you are starting a bank, you are starting a bank with a 25 billion naira capital. Abi? It's a startup bank. But in the universal definition of things, is it a startup? Do you get my point? So, customer. Customer is a very crucial, a lot of times we assume that we subsume the concept of the customer under revenue growth. And that's why I said we are always too carried away with revenue targets. So you can, for example, be on a 1 billion naira revenue, but it's just one customer or two. Is that necessarily growth stage in the context of customer? No, Abi, because the concentration risk is too high. If the customer exits, you've lost 50% of your revenue. Or if it's one, that's the business is dead. You have to start running helter-skelter. Abi? So your customer number in terms of the volume of your customers, how many of your customers are repeatable, or how many customers can come to you Yes, how do you acquire customers or how do you grow your customer base? Usually at growth stage, you would have hacked the style or the formula for attracting customers, even if you are not actually chasing them. Are we on the same page? Now, approach to planning would usually factor in most of this context. It's just like if it's individual. You would have other things like maybe career interest, revenue, income plan, skills, do I want an academic path? What do I want to achieve on the spiritual side? Blah, blah, blah. Depends on your context, your individual priorities. But again, let's focus on business. Now, again, I wanted to teach us 7S framework and a few other things, but those ones, there's no time. So I'm going to focus on balanced scorecard. Because balanced scorecard, in the context of things, factors in a lot of other things. So I'll just use it and not go into other areas. Now, typically, please, is there any engineer in this house? Are there engineers? Not they fear. Why not they? I've never taught a class that was this afraid, though. Not software, please. Not software engineer. Engineer, proper engineer, civil, or something like that, or structural. I dey draw house for board. They ask me if na software call, paperware ni, software engineer call. You better call yourself developer, property developer. Nobody has engineering background here. Wow. I beg you. Okay, what engineering are you? Fair enough. So, what is this? Simple, Abi. What is this? At least. You people are not that bad, even though you know. What are these ones called? You see? Is it column? Is it pillar? Papa, they talk with confidence. Pillars. I knew that this was where the non-engineering audience would come in. Say na pillar. Baba Waidi bricklayers. These are columns. What are these? If you let these people talk now, then go call them decking. These are slabs. Now, when you finish building your house, what do you say? Which is most important in this house, first and foremost? What do you think is the most important? Why? So if the foundation of the house, if something happens to the foundation, maybe it starts leaking or something, are you going to pack your... Can that make you run out of the house? Temporarily. These questions are not hard. You people are... I've never taught a class that you people are looking at me like this. It's not hard now. What is the most important? We've said foundation. Okay, why? It carries the whole house, Abi. It carries the whole house. And if you build it and you don't build it well and the foundation is bad, it can just collapse. Abi? Fantastic. So usually the foundation is most important when you are building. Doing the building is when it is most important. Abi now? Usually, after you've built, except doing building, the foundation was already very, very significantly bad. Most times, you will not have problem with foundation when you are done. Abi now? That's why you see most houses in the world are still standing years later. And if you begin to have anything with problem with foundation, you most likely will not carry your things and run out. Otherwise, everybody in Lekki will have moved to... I don't know why people think it's Lekki that has the most flood issues. Have you seen flood in Surulere and Mushi and Yaba? Anyway, whatever. Then let's go into the argument. So, this one's Inko. If a car hits me here in this house, will it collapse? Would anything happen? If a car hits this building now from front, will the building collapse? Depends on what? Eh? Eh? It depends on your prayers. It's not trailer. What did you say? If it's supporting, you engineer, fake one. Okay. You go. Eh? On my payment, engineers no do this room, sha. So if it's bearing significant load, so what's significant load really? I mean, it's very unlikely that you see, except there's a problem with the overall structure. It's unlikely that a car would hit a building and that building will just collapse. I'm not talking about running through the building now. I'm talking about you hit it from any side. Abi? It's very unlikely. In fact, you see bombs would explode a side and the full building will still not come down. You want to say something?
You asked for an engineer, so we don't claim to be engineers. So it depends really on the type of structure and how the building is developed. Like he said, if it actually hits a critical point in the building, not a wall. Walls are just infills, right? If it hits, say, a critical column in the building, you would definitely see a damage to that side of the building, and it might affect, the column. And let's be realistic. Most building collapse in Lagos or anywhere. It's not like it's just the whole column that is bad. Just one critical one failed, and it chains across everyone, and before you know, everything is down. So it depends really at the point.
You see, that's why I like talking to a room of experts. Come on, Shan. Anyway, so the man has brought in criticality of the columns. Abi? In planning, always look at it like your house. But when you finish building, don't let me get distracted. What do they say you've done? They say you have a roof over your head. Abi? Do they say you have a column over your head? Or a foundation? It is a roof at the end of the day. This looks like the easiest job to do, but this is the most important. Can you move into it without this thing? You want to go and be living in... They will say you are a... What's that? What do they call that thing? Is it delinquent? What do they call those people that don't have a house? That are sleeping in uncompleted building? Are we on the same page? So at the end of the day, it is the roof. They say he has a... congratulations. Oh, he has a, in fact, on money, they used to collect money when you are doing roof. Are we on the same page? Now, if we domesticate it back to planning, this roof ultimately is the vision that you want to achieve. This is the ultimate of planning. If you don't have a vision or a goal, a strong... So, I don't like to use goal because goals, you can have multiple goals. You decompose your vision into goals. Except it's only one goal and it's a lesser goal and you want to, then it also becomes a vision. Now, your roof is your vision. Most of us usually plan without a vision. Vision is not the dreamy, the one that motivational speakers will tell you, all things are possible. It's a lie. All things are not possible. I can assure you, you will just kill yourself. You say all things are possible. All things are possible. Now you kill John Bosco. So, the vision that you want to achieve in the next 5 years, you can have a short-term vision of 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. You can have a mid-term vision of 5 years. You can have a long-range vision of 10 years, even though it's usually a waste of time. Because now, your long-range vision is usually aspirational, which is, this is where I see myself in the very long term. So, for example, how many of us have sat down to think about who we want to be at 70 years old? God bless you. So, me, for example, up until last year, because of all these political sentiments, but I used to see myself a lot in Wole Soyinka. I mean, his life, in terms of how he lives his life. So, I don't look at Dangote, and I'm not so keen on billions, right? So, I see myself at 70. I'd rather be somebody who is a global brand, can fly anywhere, lives in a farmhouse somewhere, either abroad or here. Do you get my intellectual properties enough to feed my generations? And not necessarily that I have to be running after meetings all over the place and, do you get my point? So, if you have a mindset of, okay, what do I want to be at 70? That's a very long-term vision. But for planning, that's not necessarily what you're going to use. It is that you will now decompose. In business analysis, there's what they call functional decomposition. That is, you identify different functions or different elements, you then begin to decompose it. Now, this you now decompose into, okay, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, what do I want to achieve? Are you following me? Where do I want to get to? And there is never planning in isolation. Again, most of us always think success is determined by financial performance. It's an absolute lie. Because the wealthiest people are not necessarily the most successful. Success is too relative. Again, depends on your vision. For example, if they come and there's a game I usually play, that game says that it's a card game, and it asks that if somebody gives you, okay, no, let me just ask somebody in this room. I don't even know who I want to ask. Let me go back to my friend, inspirational guy. If somebody gives you $200,000 to change your name or to change your business, will you change it?
Not really.
Why? Who they shout out here? Oh, man, wow. People cannot even pretend that. People cannot even pretend that they are passionate. That it's not about money. Is it you that, are you him? So if I bring out $200,000 now and I say this money is yours, but don't bear your name for 1 year and leave this your business.
No, I don't think so.
You will not do it. Why? The vision is strong.
Something like
You are
that.
very passionate.
No.
You know that? Please, who else? Who wants to answer? Let me give that guy who just enter, request mechanic. Are you a mechanic?
No. I go change them.
You go change them.
Facts.
Oh, you don't already even determine, you don't deny your brand just because of the thought of $200,000.
Them they be brand on.
But how about your personal name? Are you going to change your personal name?
Change.
Lord, Shanum. Oh, God. I do like it.
I mean, Buju, Benson. I mean, if you got it, the brand is just, you just have to change. People will follow you.
You not change, Abby? Why? I just want to know the reason.
For what I've built, the name, $200,000 is not enough.
God bless you. So it's relative. It's just to understand the relativity of success. It doesn't mean that he's also not successful. It just means that he's looking at it that, okay, what capital have I built around this name now? That if you give me $200,000, can I make with my name $200,000 in the next 1 year, 2 years, 3 years? If not, why can't I take this $200,000, swap the name for a year, and I come back and it becomes a story? Abi? But if I know that my name has a tendency to give me $200,000 anyway, and I have a lot more to lose, Now, don't get it wrong. That does not mean that I am going to be more successful in the long term than the guy who collected that $200,000 today and multiplied it faster than me that is doing my own thing. Are you following what I'm saying? So that's why I told you that the relativity, the context is extremely important. And that is the most important thing that we must go away with today. How to understand context about our lives and our business. Now, in planning, once you have documented this vision, there are now 4 pillars. It's called, or themes. In fact, it's called pillars, or perspectives in Balanced Scorecard. And those perspectives, they are like the columns and the slabs that hold the building together. Now, the first is about your capacity. Now, different texts will call it different things. Some call it people, some call it L&D or whatever. But let's use organizational capacity. I don't want to use organizational because I know some people are applying it to themselves personally. What is my capacity today to achieve this vision? Don't deceive yourself. Don't say, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. Leave story. People who said it years ago, some people died without achieving anything. It doesn't mean God is a wicked God. It simply means that the universality of God, the universal nature of the concept of God is too varying that do you understand what I'm saying? Let's go into religion. But summary of it is that don't let either spirituality or over motivational deceive us to think that we are what we are not. If I'm at point A today and I want to achieve point Z, it's achievable, but I have to first tell myself that I am in point A. Not tell myself I'm in point A, but I refuse to be in point A. I am in point A plus plus. Trust me, I've been in some funny conversations. And things are falling apart around this person. And you are saying, this is where you are. These are the things that you need to. They'll say, no, I refuse that. So, what's my capacity? Capacity means how much do I have, either as capital or as savings? Who do I know? Who are my significant others? Who do I know within my primary network? This primary network. Now, these people can be people that would help me register my business, or people that would refer my business, or people that would be enablers to my business, or people that will be my customers. Who do I know is part of my capacity? What type of partnerships do I need to build to strengthen my position, to expand my capacity? Now, what do I know? This one is the biggest problem we have in Africa. We're a knowledge-deficient economy. We don't really appreciate knowledge. In fact, our politicians deliberately take knowledge away from you so that when election time comes, they can share 500. Abi? The knowledge people, knowledge and poverty, when you merge both of them together, is suicidal. But lack of knowledge on his own, poverty on his own, both of them are wicked though. But when you now put it together, there's no going back. So, what do I know? If you don't know what you know, I was interviewing somebody this morning. The person came up, very watery looking presentation. And I said, how would you rate this your presentation by yourself? It's a question I always ask. Everybody I interview, assess yourself. If you do rubbish and you tell me I couldn't prepare well, I'll give myself a 3. Or this is where my skill set is, I know the possibility out there, I'll give myself a 3/10 or a 4, I swear. You would have done excellently well. Because your self-awareness is high. But you've done rubbish, you now say you give yourself 8.5. And you are now arguing it. What does that mean? You will most likely be untrainable. Because you will be arguing with those that should train you. Abi? So, what do I know? And what is the gap? So if I'm planning for 2025, I'm telling myself that for where I want to get to in 2025 December, I need to do this training. Or I need to travel to this place. Or I need to engage this person. Are you with me? Are we on the same page? The same thing with who do I know? I need to go to more events. I need to talk to people within this ecosystem. I need to meet this person. I need to be friends with those persons. You map it. That is what planning is all about. It's about writing it on that paper. Or because you forget if it's in your head until you get to a point where you've become an automated planner. Like you can plan things in your head and it becomes, you start without you even writing it. Huh? It's special. No, I don't know about inspiration now. That's what's your name, boss? That's Daniel. Now Daniel is saying inspiration on me. I know I'm not inspiring anybody. So, are we on the same page here? So it's really about your capital, who you know, what you know. Largely. So every other thing maybe I should not say capital is not actually, when I say capital now, it's not actually money. So capital can be, what do I have? Do I have enough assets? I'm a photographer, but I don't have a camera. I have one guy, he's a photographer within my SME community. I was talking to him yesterday. I've known him since 2018. I don't know how many years, that's 6 years. He was a young bachelor at that time. He used to rent cameras, or he used to use his employer's cameras, then he started renting and all of that. And this is 6 years down the line. He still does not have a camera. So he still complains when I refer him for opportunities that he has to go and rent camera. But lo and behold, in that 6 years, he's got married, he has 2 kids. What's funny? What did you just say? You said that's the most important thing to him. That's his vision. Shake me. You be correct guy. No, it sounds funny, but that is his vision. So if it is your vision, I don't judge people. If that's your vision, I assure you, I'm happy for you at it, but you can't now be burdening me with something that you should have solved. There's another guy. He's a partner. He's partnering with us at our event. His name is on our billboards. And this guy just finished school. He just joined the community last year. I think he was even an intern or something, or I don't even know. And him too used to do all these things. The guy just worked like he said, why? Don't worry about it. Don't be calling me about the money. Anybody that just wants to do the work, just call me. Even if it's free, let me just go there first. I'm telling you. And this was how this guy worked with multiple people, saved every penny he could get. He's an architect. He was still working part-time as an architect, saving his money. Next thing, he just told me about fields. Hey, why I've resigned. I'm not doing this thing. I said, are you sure that you've not even built? He said, he showed me everything going on by. So, don't forget, I understand that there can be context because you never can tell they may be from different backgrounds. They may be, remember, we've already said it, that everything is in the context of context. Abi? But in the face of the evidence before you, you can see that vision and prioritizing is extremely important. So, you can't be telling people, you can't be going to events and be talking to people that, I have been following you, I've been following you for so long, I have this challenge with my business, I don't have funding. I don't have funding to buy equipment, or I don't have enough customers. And then you dissect this person and you see that you don't need funding. You are simply not prioritizing your business. The money you say you need funding for 100K, 200K. Meanwhile, you are on your way to having a 4th child. Are you following me? It doesn't make sense. Simply. And as simple as it sounds, that's because I speak on some of these things because I have a lot of data. You'll be shocked at how common this problem is. Misplaced planning. Both in personal life and business life. Now, the idea is that once I've deepened this capacity, the next thing is my process. How am I going to achieve it? How am I going to get there? As in, how will I do the work? So, for example, I've known that I don't have knowledge. I don't know much people. I don't have much capital. I've identified what I have versus what I need, the gap. Okay. I already know that I need to do X, Y, Z in terms of, okay, I want to attend at least so number of events, do you get? But I live in Alagbado or Songo, and all these events are in VI. At least Bagada, the third point people even nice and come Bagada. Most times they are in VI. Or I don't have, my family is not from anywhere, so I don't know any. Do you get my point? So that thing I want to achieve, there has to be a process. Or you have a business. You've already identified the partners you need to build, the skill set you need to build in your people, the capital gap that you need to achieve in terms of your capacity. Now, the process is, how do you do the work? Most of we startups, we are too engrossed with building the tech that We build tech for a process that is faulty. So the process will be broken. Do you get my point? The tech, you realize, does not solve the problem, and you front-loaded a lot of cost on the tech. It is process first, and your process does not need tech to work, except it's a fully digital product. Even if it's fully digital, you can still design the process and stress test the process and be sure that this process will do what I want it to do. So your process is about how am I going to do this thing? How many steps will it take me? How many days? Are you following me? How do I measure that I have achieved the desirable outcome? Process is easy to know what process is. Process, you can determine what a process is. There's something we call SIPOC analysis. SIPOC. This is supplier, input, process, output, and customer. Anything that has an input and you generate an output from it, and in between the input and the output, you've done something. It's a process. Are we on the same page? So, for example, what would be the process of acquiring knowledge? God bless you. Going to school. So, if I have planned that I want to acquire knowledge, clearly, I have to then plan for how I will go to school. Abi now? It's simple as ABC. If you already know that you have deficient capacity in your staff, you have to think of either how to upskill them. Now, after process, who can get the next thing? It's customer. I'm late. I need to get out now. Customer. Your customer is beyond who is even buying from you. That's why that question I asked you earlier when you say academy. For example, my SME community is non-profit. It's like in between it, we have an academy. It's called the Caladium SME Fellowship Program. But it's non-profit. But it falls under customer. Because your non-profit and every other thing that you do may not necessarily be paid for, but they contribute to the brand building. And that brand equity is part of your objectives here. Now, your brand equity is also you as an individual. Because we are in a morally bankrupt society, people think that personal brand, people don't even care about their personal brand. It's ridiculous. I've never seen it before. I'm telling you. Like, people really do not give a damn. They will collect money from you with no intention of delivering the service. Or people, you will give them money, they will tell you, you cannot return, you cannot do this, you cannot do that. So, how do I build my brand? What type of brand do I want to achieve in 2025? What are the elements that will connect to it? You go and look at all the biggest brands in your space. How are their brand positioned? What type of logos do they have? Is it word mark? Is it combination mark? Is my own 1960 type of logo? Do I need to rebrand to get there? Are you following me? What are the places my brand is represented? Then who are my customer segments? The customer segments today, will they get me to this place? If they will not, stop deceiving yourself. It's like Zenith Bank and GTB. Both of them wanted to build, the Zenith Bank wanted to build the biggest bank in Nigeria. GT wanted to build the most profitable. 30 years down the line, they both built. But Zenith Bank then realized that they were making almost $1 trillion in revenue. And about maybe 20 or 30% of profit. They are making double the revenue of GT and about the same profit. You don't understand? About the same profit. They now started chasing retail. About those of us where they don't pursue years ago, say you don't have 250,000, you don't have 500,000. When we were poor, they come, they chase us about. I cost them when they call me. Unfortunately, I now have a dumb account there. I am going to collect that money today out of annoyance. Because, do you understand? But both of them chase their vision. But Zenith did not quickly wake up to realize that, but that's also because their vision evolved. So after they realized the biggest bank, they now realize again that my business acquisition cost is too high. These guys are cashing out without even breaking this much sweat. Because at the end of the day, it's not by how much you make, it's by how much you have in your pockets. But we can't go into that one, cash flow and profit. If I go there, we will not live here today. Now, what do you think is the ultimate here before you get to your vision? Finance. God will bless you. That's why I asked this man, I said, what's the difference between the social and e-commerce? Well, I think I get what he means. But if you are a social enterprise or non-profit, that one will be impact. For example, I want Caladium Consulting. Caladium Consulting has worked with 200 clients across Africa and Europe and America. Just 200. I own a non-profit. We've worked with 10,000 SMEs. What's the difference? The first one is finance. Just 200 people. They pay us thousands of dollars. The other one, 10,000, they cannot pay us a dime. But there's impact. Massive social capital. God bless you, Papa. You got it. Are you with me? So at the end of the day, all of these things, how much am I able to make? Finance is not only about revenue, it's also about profit and capital in terms of the money I have. Now, when you achieve this, what happens? All of this, you would have achieved your vision. It's now your job to go back and domesticate this into your personal and your business life. With these few points of mine, ladies and gentlemen, I hope I've been able to confuse you the more about planning than I have convinced you. Thank you.
Any questions? Thank you, AY. I think that was on point. From my perspective of product management, a lot of what you said I can definitely relate to. I have a question regarding the ordering. Maybe there's no order, but I just want to know. Capacity, process, customer, finance, vision. Is there an order? Should there be an order? And which would be first? Question.
I like this type of question. It shows that he was following. You know, some people, they come to events with their questions written down. Or in their head. They know they listen to waiting. Even when you have addressed that thing, they will still raise up their hand and ask that thing. And people will be like, why are you not listening? Because this thing this man asks is something I usually say as part of this teaching. And him asking shows that I did not say it. There's an order, and this is the order. And the reason is because, let's journey through it. If I'm able to deepen my capacity, what will happen? Will my process not be better? Abi? Because the process, the ability to do the process is the capacity. Abi now, if you don't have enough people to do the work, will you be able to serve 200 customers? If you don't have the office space or laptops or whatever tools or resources, would you be able to do the work? If you are a payment company, you don't have partners that you are integrating to. You don't have switch, you don't have anything. Will you be able to do payments? If you have hospital, you don't have physical hospital except you are telemedicine, everything in the corner. You won't be able to do anything now. Abi? Now, when you are able to do this, it increases your capacity to deliver solid process. Abi? When your process is solid, what will happen? Your customers will be happier. Abi now, is it not process you use to serve customer? You acquire customer, you don't get process. Or you acquire the customer, then you begin to develop the process. But you must develop this process to serve the customer. Abi now? And if your customers are happy, what happens? Your finance will be happy, your finance is happy, your vision is happy. So that's the flow, actually. But again, remember I said there are different other frameworks. This is just one. Some other frameworks would carry some things simultaneously and say they should happen. It doesn't mean this does not also happen simultaneously, but it's just a flow. Hope that answers your question.
Thanks a lot, AY.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thanks a lot for the presentation. What's on my mind is that you have, from the wealth experience you've had, you've worked with quite a number of companies, maybe like 2 practical examples of this flow, how they moved and how they get to where they
Another master class with that.
Which
Now.
one?
Papa say you dey whine me. Papa want dey whine me now. Let me use these guys. This is the world's biggest TV game show. The Price is Right. They just launched in Nigeria. Yes, you should watch it. It's a fantastic game show. It's like a gambling show, but not gamble. Like you roll games, you guess the prices of things on the item, and you can win cars. It's live on TV. You can watch it on DSTV or. Now, before it started airing, they are our clients. We've been clients to them since about 2018 or 17, right? They had gotten the license to air in Nigeria. A license worth thousands of USD. But they didn't have the capacity. In fact, unfortunately, the video is not here. I would have just played the interview of the CEO talking about our brand and what we did for them. That would have explained exactly what this is. So the first thing we had to do was to even work on this capacity, to even do this thing. Extensive work. We need money. We need partners. We need the games. We need the resources. We need a lot of work for years. For about, I can't remember now, maybe 4 or 5 years. And then it was as this was showing up that we started designing the process. And we did. Now, from here, we now started looking for customers, sponsors, what's it called, live audiences, whatever. Then we started making money. Now, there are a lot of other clients, Megawatts, Will Foods, Fatum. This was literally what we did for them. Will Foods, for example, just opened a bigger factory in Songo. So it's strategy development and strategy ideation, extensive work. It's called, this one I just summarized. These people pay millions of naira for it. Because again, once you've gotten here as an enterprise, or here, you need those more structured approach to planning. But remember what I said earlier, is planning even necessary for a small business or an individual? It's not. Structured planning is not. Don't let people scam you. Anybody that wants to do a proper plan for you and is telling you to pay 50,000, 100,000, 200,000, just do it yourself. It's a quack. There's what we call, at this point, you don't need any structured or overly documented plan. What you need most times here to drive you is what they call gut feeling, founder's instincts. Founder's instincts is a valid and recognized approach to strategy. Because at the very early stages, where did the business come from? God bless you. Forget idea. Because idea anywhere. It is your mind. It's your mind that generated the idea, Abi. It's your mind. People overblow idea too much. I always tell people, they say you are looking for help. You say, it's idea. This is my idea. Which idea? If you are the only one that has the idea, it's a bad idea. Yes, I said it. If you are the only one that has the idea in the whole world, it's a bad idea. Yes, it is a bad idea. Because people always have ideas. Almost everybody has an idea. It is the execution that is the cocoa. It is who execute now be innovator, not be first thinker. So whatever you think you are thinking, not be first thinker. I can assure you. Right? So it is extremely important that we master the art of planning, the art of executing, because it's not by going back and writing plenty plan and you don't execute. Are we on the same page? So, founder's instincts guided by a flexible working plan. All these things that we've said, you document it down. You don't need any expansive, complicated this thing. I think that's all. Is there any other question? I thought you said 420. I know your type. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much, AY. I have 2-in-1 question, right? The first one is, looking at our illustration, I discovered that we didn't really talk much about the mission. And the mission usually...
The mission, yeah.
The mission, as
right.
we know, usually is the reason why a business even comes to life in the first place.
No?
Does this suffice?
No, I don't agree. I don't agree. Oh.
So no, go to the building there.
Now you are defined. Okay, it's under. Yeah. Okay, go ahead. What's your name again?
Abdul Wasil.
Abdul Wasil, correct.
Does it suffice to use, or is it safe to say the capacity, the process, the customer, the finance is the mission that leads to the vision?
No,
okay,
the
if
mission
not,
is actually on top of the vision. So the mission is not a planning tool. The mission is, the vision is where I want to be. To be. Mm-hmm. The mission is the process. Why do I come here every day? Open any company and read their mission statement. Most of them don't document it properly, but the ones that have it properly, just open it. You will see that it reads, it defines the work. That is, why do we come here? What do we come here to do every day? Yep. I don't know if you understand my point.
Sure.
So, for example, my startup can be to be Africa's most preferred or largest healthcare provider. To be. Abi? Mm-hmm. Then you now have your vision definitions, which is, what does this to be Africa's largest mean? Is it by revenue? Is it by customer base? Is it by infrastructure? Yes. Because it's healthcare. You don't have to tick all the boxes. It's you that will define it to yourself. Now, mission will now be, we are committed to delivering first-class services to our people through something. Do you get it? When you read the mission, you are telling yourself what you do every day. Mm.
So when you get to the vision, what happens next? Do you start building another house?
You recalibrate it. It's called vision recalibration. When you've achieved this, you recalibrate your vision. That's why when you check the visions of the Apples and Co., it's abstract. When you are still here, at the beginning, your vision should be specific. You want to achieve this by this. When you are building abstract visions as a startup, you are on a journey to nowhere. But when you've gotten there, you then build an abstract vision, because Apple has one funny vision. I can't remember. Maybe you bring happiness to the world or something like that. Because they're Apple. They sit on billions of dollars of USD. So now their products, I mean, as stupid as we say that Apple products are, I went to queue for iPhone 16 in London. It doesn't make sense, but it's Apple. Are you following me? It doesn't, but it is Apple. Show me here, brother. So if you have not gotten there yet, remember we said it earlier, when you've hacked the code, this period now is my peak period. It's because I'm passionate about teaching people. Otherwise, I don't go come this place. If you use customer, if you are not meeting a certain revenue threshold, I'm not having a conversation with you. There's no need. Because every other consulting firm are getting businesses and they are calling me to come and do it. How much more direct clients? Because the brand has gotten to that point. Because we are the best in strategy. Are you following me? So, forget those days of humility, something. Literally the best. So, and we are not sleeping. We are working like jackasses and constantly improving. You dey follow me? So, until you get to that point, you cannot develop visions that are abstract. Our vision was to be amongst Nigeria's biggest brand for SME support brands by 2025. We recalibrated it last year because we've achieved it. Everybody calls us for their SME strategy. Every bank, every institution, even church. Tomorrow, I'm going to talk at a church in Egbeda to go and talk to the SMEs. Everybody, DESPA, HICC, everywhere. We are everywhere. Are you with me? So we have to recalibrate it and say, no, we've moved up. After that, we'll now become abstract.